have a ton to teach here, but I'll go through them. But it's really just use. Are we good? Are we written down yet or no? A couple people shaking now. Oh. It was Ben's fault. Courtney, it wasn't my fault. It was Ben's. I would like that to be known. I don't want you making students think I forgot about them. You gotta do it twice now. That should be your punishment. Is everybody still writing? You see them? Okay. So, first of all, if you remember, like, so not doing this problem, but if I gave you, like, y equals 5 cos x, let's say, when you took the derivative, what happened to that 5? Does it just drop down? So it'd be 5 times, and the derivative of cos was negative sine. So we would have done that. Same thing happens in integrals. The constant just kind of stays there. You could actually do it this way. You could take the constant out and say I'm going to do negative 5 times the integral of cosecant of x. And then it's just like derivatives. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm not going to say that's going to mess you up. So you got it. The sign's going to get confusing. Like the derivative of cosine was negative sine. But the derivative of sine was positive cos, right? So the integral of cos is positive sine. Perfect, right? So, I mean, you just got to get it. I mean, there's nothing I can do to make that magical in your brain. But when I had y equals sine of x and I took the derivative, what was it? It was cos. And when I had y equals cos, remember we said if the derivative, if it started with a c, the derivative was negative? So then, yes, that's part of the issue, is now you forgot derivatives. And now I'm saying, okay, remember those derivatives that you don't remember? Do them backwards. Like that gets a little tough. So, if I give you cos and I'm going back up a level, it's still positive. So what I'm trying to get at here is the integral of cosine of x is sine of x. So you don't necessarily need to do this step where you take the negative 5 out, but you can. I mean, really, it's just dropping down. If you want to look at it as like, hey, that looks easier to me. Put the negative 5 back. That's cool. It doesn't matter if that's parentheses or not. You can do. Like, that's fine. You are.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
No, he's not lying.
Do number 2. You can do number 2. But that's not trig, right? That's not from yesterday. Power rule. So that's like in a perfect form. Like I don't have to worry about bringing a variable up or a rationalization, like a rational root radical power thingy. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Radical. So what's the integral of negative 2? Like what did I take the derivative of to get to negative 2? Negative 2x or negative 2r if you want. And then add 1 to the power. So that's negative 3, and then multiply by the reciprocal of the new power. So that's negative 5. And then that's your answer. Remember, you can check them, right? So if I take the derivative, so I'm saying this is the original equation. If I take the derivative follow my rules there, I do get what I started with. Either way. But yeah. Number 3. So again, if you want to yank that 3 out, and then look at, okay, what's the integral of cosecant cotangent? There's nothing I can do to help you. You just gotta memorize that. What's the integral of that? Is negative cosecant. And then if I put that 3 back in, that's my answer. Make sure you don't do this, like integrate the cosecant cotangent and get negative cosecant. I didn't do that right, did I? It's negative 3 cosecant of x, sorry. I was worried about this next part. Don't write it like that. What did you just write? 3 minus cosecant. If you want to put like 3 times negative cosecant, that works, but I would make really sure your times and your minus are very clearly both there and separate from each other. This is a much safer way to write it, I feel like. Plus C. Number 4, same idea. If you want to take that 3 out and say, okay, that's 3 times the integral of sine of x. And then what's the integral of sine of x? Negative cos. So it's really like 3 times negative cos. And I think it's probably safer to go to there. And I don't know if this step is really even necessary. Like, I think you're going to get to the point where you're like, okay, sine integral is negative. And I don't even know if like this 3 out here is necessary. I think you get to the point where you go, okay, the integral of sine is negative. The 3 drops. I'm going to make it negative. And you'll just be doing that. I'm just showing you like the longer and more detailed steps for now. Then there's e's and natural logs. What's up? I'm going to skip to 7. So again, if you want to pull that negative sign out, you can rewrite this like negative 1 times the integral of e to the x. And then e to the x is kind of the easiest one. So what's the derivative of e to the x? What's the integral of e to the x? E to the x. And then yeah, don't forget your plus c. There have been people that have gotten a 0 on the gateway because they forgot plus c on all 10 questions. Like a girl did that. She got a 90 on the first one. She didn't cry. She got a 90 on the first one. I gave her back the second one. It was not your sister. Your sister probably didn't cry. I gave her back the second one. She got a 0. Like Jack is me and I'm a girl. Screw you. Threw it in my face.
Jack, why would you ever do that?
Jack, stop being so disrespectful. So make sure you see, like, make sure you put your plus C. And during the game, I'll be like, make sure that I don't see any stupid mistakes. Like I see, like I even did that. And she still did. I know, hilarious. Let's find a natural log. They don't like look like natural logs. They kind of sneak up on you. 14. So 14, you don't realize right away that you're going to be using natural log there. At least I don't. You might get to that point. But you're just like, if I look at this, I'm first thinking of power rule. I'm like, okay, I'm going to add 1 to the power. And then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of the new power. Well, what's the reciprocal of 0? No, it's not 0. It'd be like 0 on the bottom, which is undefined.
Oh,
So you can't do it.
yes.
And at that point, most people are like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't do that normal way, I do natural log. That's kind of how, like, you get, like, you try to do the normal way and you get jammed up. You're like, I can't multiply by the reciprocal of 0. And then you're like, oh wait, yeah, that's right. The integral of x to the negative 1 is the natural log of x. And you can't take the natural log of a negative number, so you're doing absolute value signs here. And that would be your answer. So if I were to check it and take the derivative, the 4 would just drop, and then if you remember, again, I don't know if you do, but what's the derivative of natural log of x? Was 1 over x, and then isn't that the same as that? Like, didn't we end up where we started? So the natural log ones they're not that difficult, but they kind of sneak up on you because they don't say like, hey, this is a natural log problem. You just gotta kind of realize. Did I put plus c? Yeah, you always put plus c. Did I forget it? So like 17. What's that gonna end? What are you gonna end up using in 17? It's gonna be natural log again, right?
So whenever it's gonna be
Whenever you have a negative first power, so that's the rule. If I'm integrating x to the negative first, it's natural log. So if you remember that, great. But a lot of people just kind of don't. They're like, okay, I'm gonna add 1 to the power. Oh crap, that's right. And then it kind of like triggers your memory. You know? Yeah, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting there. So I'm gonna give you time to work on this, but I want to show you what's coming next too, because I'm trying to really convince you to memorize these. So let's say I had like sine of I don't want to show you. That's it. It's like kind of confusing. I think it'll be more relevant right now. Well, my point is memorize.